Um, I guess pretty much that everyone here is probably familiar with the communication in general. But uh, I suppose the beauty of these sorts of gatherings and let's say this opening is that it's not really about what's being said. It's not at all about what's being said. Um, the kind of thought that I know this or I know what he's going to say is is this aliveness? Is what's being discussed? Is this sudden immediacy? And it's this pure, raw aliveness of the heart beating, sound of a voice, and whatever is appearing to happen is is what we're talking about. So it's fresh and new as immediately just this. Um, so that's the freshness that you might hear talked about. In other words, that it's not really about a communication called non-duality, where there's a suggestion being made that there is no center to life, there's no you inside that body orchestrating everything, deciding what's what. There's just no you in there. But it's not about those words, it's about the freshness of, let's say, whatever is, how they're heard, what's grappled with, what's not. And it could be the case that it's just this freshness that's that there aren't questions. That's very possible. Um, but let's see what happens. I mean, I suppose the full-on suggestion being made here is that um, there isn't you and life. There's just life. There's just what is, and there's no you at the center of it. But there is whatever it is, whatever response, whatever thought, whatever feelings, whatever story being told about a life that's happening. Whatever is this. So it's a kind of a rare sharing, and it's authority-less. And that means, in essence, that there is no knowledge held here in this uh, um, these speckled, this chainsaw massacre glasses wearing uh, human being that's not there, that's not elsewhere. But there may be imaginations about all of this, and there may be some held stories about something needing to happen, and I don't know. Um, so it's a gathering, and questions might happen and they might not. Let's see how this goes. If by chance you haven't been along here, just click unmute and jump on in. It's a nice little gathering. So, or if you're not comfortable with that, you can just type in the little chat box thingy. All right, so let's see what happens.
The way that like the story of being a person is manifesting itself here right now for me is just needing to protect myself and needing to be in like good energy.
Mm.
And one of the things that um, you know, I guess has made that even more so is the little baby that I have. And I don't know, it's just it's like every week there are these moments of feeling like there's just what's happening or whatever, just a sense of I want to say connection, but that's, a story, but like there's just being, and it's great. And then there's also these moments of um, feeling like, oh, I took a wrong turn, and now everything's going to go wrong, and oh, why did I do that? And oh, she's not sleeping like the way she used to. And then now that's because I've been talking to these people who are living in fear all the time. And, it's just all these stories. And it's like, I need to protect myself and I need to run away. But then I don't run away because I don't know. I guess there's no me. I don't know why I don't run away. I mean, the story there is that I need to be courageous and I need to stay strong. But it's like, it's all just about this idea of protecting. But if there's not even a me, you know, it's all just complete nonsense.
Yeah, well, but nobody said that there. So then all there is what's appearing to happen, feeling the need to protect yourself against whatever it is, and looking after baby and all the worries and everything that appears to happen with that. It's not a kind of a state or a once removedness or even a connectedness with anything. All there is just, and it's not that either. It's all there is just immediately what it is. So, and that's everything. That's the lock. So obviously it includes all that. It includes everything that's said there, thought. There was never a me or not a me. There was just what is and what appears to happen. It's so outrageously ordinary. Nothing is attained. There'd have to be something in there that could recognize it. And there just isn't. So amazingly, all of that doesn't require a good old me. And then it's not really even walking around when there's worry happening. It's not like it's just worry happening. That's all. That
Yeah.
doesn't diminish it or make it more than it is. It's just that then. It's like we're so used to this must have a point, all these conversations, and there must be a resolution, and worry will suddenly become less worry and feeling the need to withdraw and whatever. That's this also. Not wanting to talk to people. That's also this, not wanting to listen to bullshit. That's this also.
Yeah.
See, the outrageous spectacularness is that nobody said that there, and nobody's saying this, and nobody's doing hearing, but hearing is happening, and nobody's doing thinking, but thinking is happening. There isn't a Lauren thing, but there's character lowering or whatever. It's just life happening. Full on edgy shit, wonderful, scary, exciting, amazing, spectacular life.
So then what happened from when you were making movies about this to holding meetings about this?
Nothing. It's just you see, it's just there's just what it is. So what we love I mean, uh, let's just say the seeking stopped, but obviously somehow this communication remained. And so you could say that making movies was a passion for this communication, and it was pretty uncompromising in terms of all the speakers selected. It was more or less now. It was pretty clear, and it's totally opposite of this, you could say, character. It's wonderfully reveals that um, there was nothing in it. There's never a me, because if there was a me, it absolutely wouldn't be holding meetings, and I absolutely wouldn't have made movies. I would have been trying to make something that made money.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Yeah.
like if there was a me, it wonderfully exposes that if there was a me, this is the last place they'd be, is that something like this.
Yeah.
It's just, sure, how do you make a baby? How does me make a baby? Well, okay, I don't get that part. How does me
Yeah.
worry? Well, okay. How do you do or not do worry? How does the trees grow the leaves and the berries, and how does the grass grow? How does the wind blow? How do the nails grow? The heart beat?
Hmm.
Everything. So then all of that about the me dropping away is the fucking story, is the imagination of knowing, of certainty, of knowledge. So you could tell a story about Frank seeking furiously, making podcasts, and then Frank finding something and sharing it. But it's not so what we love is headline stories. It's like, we like
Yeah.
the back of the book thing so that we can know this in a story.
Right.
But
Package
it's
it up.
but it's
Yeah.
just stories. So what? Like it's just stories. So Frank is no longer then, you know, seeking. But
Hmm.
there just isn't a Frank, and it is outrageous that this communication happens. I was joking with my other half saying about this. She's just says, no, it's still just zero interest, like at all. Oh, I was going to say, what am I going to say now? And I go to this meeting, and she's, what are you talking about?
So funny.
Ask me anything else. And it's just the mouth then starts talking, and like it's like the same way that question appeared to be asked, though. So it's a sharing, a gathering, and that's it. Like.
Hmm.
But what we love, like, it'd be amazing to be able to say, well, now I was there seeking, and suddenly there was just liberation, and all there was liberation, and it was just everything was absolutely glowingly spectacular. And now I can show you the way. Sure, you'd punch me in the face, Lauren.
Yeah.
At this stage.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, is there not a different wavelength that, and that's obviously a story or metaphor, but there's something different when I start listening to, like you, for example, talking about this. Um, it's not the same as listening to, um, well, um, obviously, yeah, like it's not the same as listening to somebody talk about their problems, I guess, or talk about, yeah, how to get something.
Hmm. Well, it's the same in a sense, that these meetings when there is a certain flavor to them. It's sort of amazing. It's kind of free. It's the same, obviously, then felt the same sort of a freeness to all this agenda list. It's sort of in the air, ever so slightly different. There's no purpose to it. We're not trying to, you know, prove things or battle or, you know, all that knowledge and all that shit. Like it's just actually rah rah fucking rah then, you know,
Hmm.
and it's free to be exactly then how it appears to be being. But also it is like that with everything, you could say. But maybe if you were to tell a little story, that maybe it feels a little bit different, these sorts of gatherings. Like it's a purposeless meeting sounds absolutely horrendous. And also at the same time, it's outrageously wonderful. It's like freewheeling guitar playing. It's like jazz, you could say. You could pretend for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. I
You-
imagine that. yeah, the music would feel like this in a way. If you, I've never been able to play music like jam with people, but that
Yeah,
would
nor have I. In spite of the two guitars
right.
behind there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can play a song, but I can't really play with a group. I never really,
Mm.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It to me, it just seems more, I don't know. Like when I try and put a word on it, it sounds silly. But yeah, raw is a good word and refreshing.
Mm.
Hmm. I'm doing this coaching thing. Like I have a job, but I kind of want to bring in some more money. And I'm a number of years ago, a person helped me by being a coach for me, and so I went back to that and kind of like without really intending, it just happened that I I I was taking this certification to be a coach course,
Mm.
and now I'm actually, doing the internship, and I have a student, and um, it's weird because as I get very afraid, and then I reassure this person who lives on the other side of the world, and then she feels a lot better, and then I obsess about whether this is actually good for me to be doing, and then if I step back, it's like I don't even I don't even really believe in it, but I certainly, I don't know. It's just maybe it won't be able to take off, or maybe it will. But it's all very, I guess, in a way, contradictory.
Well, or also it's just what's appearing to happen. It's, you see, what can be imagined is that this is a way to be, and then there's, a way not to be as a result of this communication, whereas this communication is absolutely useless. And at best, it's saying, well, there's just, well, what is. So there's no one in there, normally maybe in the past with careers and, it's like we like to see the path ahead to know it so that well, is this going to be good for my career? Is it going to lead from here to there on in the pathway? And that's all kind of about knowing, you could say, and safety, the safety of knowing where something is going. But sure, it may end tomorrow and it may continue and thrive. Who knows? Like it may absolutely flourish and you may absolutely love it, or you may turn around and hate it. A few years back, I went to do psychotherapy, and it was sort of just then torturous.
Yeah.
And that's just how it appeared to be, though. I couldn't, started with an idea of best intentions, let's just say, but it all just went out the window. It was just fucking torture,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And the thing that attracted me about the original program that I did was how simple it was. And yet it still seems complicated compared to this. And so, like, what I really could tell this person is like, well, there's no you. Like, you don't need to navel gaze because there is no you. Um, but it doesn't work that way. And also, that would not be program approved. Um, and I also there's a part of me that believes the story that it's a process and that she needs to get to a certain place before she can hear that there is no you. And that's ridiculous, because
Well,
none of it,
because
yeah.
there's already no one, so no one hears this ever. There is hearing, but there is no one here. There's no one hears this, so it's not like it's held then as anything. Life is fresh and anew as this is like it doesn't need to be remembered. It can't be forgotten, because all there is just what it appears to be, what is. So then it's, may well be turning around and saying, well, there's no one doing nothing. But It's doubtful. It just doesn't come up, you know. But sometimes the openness can appear, and it's like, it's not like you know then that there's no anything. It's not like you can prescribe or say anything because you're not saying anything. You've never thought a thought, but thinking thoughts happen.
Mhm.
So who knows? It's like you actually have no idea what you're going to think next, or say, or respond, or anything at all. So then the idea of the story maker of how things are going to go and what's going to be said and how the meetings are go, then it's almost like prescriptive. Then it's like this a way to show someone that there is no person. No one knows that there is no person or can speak this, but perhaps speaking about it may happen. But it's not knowledge based. If this was knowledge based, it just simply wouldn't happen here. Just wouldn't happen because then it would have to be remembered and learned and spoken in a way, delivered in a pitch almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's not
absolutely.
that. It's beyond all the thoughts, and it also includes all the thoughts then about this. It's the most uselessly, wonderfully thing ever because it is nothing. And that's the killer, you
I
know.
just have this, I just have this intense thought of like, why doesn't it make money?
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny. Like,
Hmm.
it's just there's still like all the necessities, and I don't know. It's
It's
um
just who knows? Anything can change in any moment, let's just say. But it seems to be incredibly rare still, and the interest. Okay, there's a few that maybe have lots of people attending to these sorts of gatherings, but really, in the scheme of things, it's not like it's exploded. It's still incredibly rare. It's there might, when you're into this subject, let's just say there's all the new speakers, and you're just so kind of dying to hear any newbie on the block. But at the same time, it's still just incredibly, incredibly rare, really. And that's just seems to be how it is. Like the elephant in the room is this fucking aliveness, and it's it's everything. But it just doesn't seem that uh, this sort of conversation happens. That's uh, you know outside of the rare, unfortunate few who seem to be drawn to it.
yeah. Yeah, wow.
Mm. And actually, uh, it's I was at Kenneth's meeting there the last day, and sometimes there's a sort of a thirst to just hear this, let's just say, or not just to be like suddenly a moment. I started talking to my wife, and words were coming out, and I could see absolutely zero interest. And then I knew Kenneth had a meeting, and I just sort of had that draw, and it's boom, just then turning up to a meeting, and it's I suppose the point really is that I know a good few people, and I sort of know that I might do something weird on the internet, let's just say, but it never ever comes up. Maybe deep into the some evenings, my brother might ask me a little bit about it with a good few pints on him. Then he seems to be prepared to
Uh-huh.
hit me with it a little bit. So come on, tell me about this. But otherwise, it just doesn't come up. This fucking aliveness, this suddenness, it just doesn't seem to. No interest whatsoever.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I know, like, well, I can understand, or I at least believe that I can understand the wanting to share or like almost like conduct, like a electric, conductor can conduct something, to just like, I don't know, yeah, talk about this. And yeah, I do feel in a way like I have this secret, you know, the open secret, um, with everybody else in my everyday life. But yeah,
Mm.
and I have a funny story about that I was talking about that at a residential with a friend, a new friend, somebody I met there, just saying like, wow, we're gonna go home and we're not gonna tell anybody what we just did. but but we love it. Like, can't
Mm.
get enough of it, live for it. And and then I went to the border and they were like, "Where did you go? What did you do?" And I was like put on the spot and they were not taking general answers as good enough. So I had to like give them all the details. And the guy left and he went to the internet, is what I firmly believe, and looked up Jim Newman and like um came back and looked like he had seen a ghost and was like, "Yeah, yeah, you can go."
You can go. Yeah, I don't really. What does he mean by that? What's
Like
that
I
mean?
was allowed to go into the country, but he
Oh, sorry. This is customs or whatever.
yeah,
Okay,
customs.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah. Fucking
anyway,
hell, right. Yeah.
no, no,
Okay. What are you
no,
going to?
it's just a story, but I was forced to talk in detail about this and what I had been doing at the
Mm.
border just to get back into Canada. Um, and the guard seemed to look up, you know, a radical non-duality speaker and confirm that what I was saying about where I had been was true. So he found this message in a very unique way.
Wow. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, good
At,
talking,
at,
Frank.
Yeah.
at least you
Likewise.
didn't have to. Can you hear me okay?
Hiya.
It's Mike here.
Hi, Mike.
At least you didn't have to explain to him that you weren't really there at all. Can you imagine trying to get that one across?
This is not really happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Part of the challenge, Frank, what you were saying about trying to explain it to people is that it can't be captured in words, so it's purely experiential. Uh, that's probably part of it anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to explain it to anyone. That's the thing, I suppose. That's the freedom. It's just what it is then. It's just appearing to talk then. And you can tell a story about a meeting and non-duality and da, 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 da. But no, it's just there's just what's appearing to happen then. And it's not like there is a thing then that I know that can be described, of course, because it is immediately appearing as simply hearing a voice and talking as this. So what can be said about that? Well, whatever appears to be fucking said is this because it isn't there and can be described or anything close. It's just yeah, just just this. And saying just this makes it seem like, what do you mean it's just fucking this? What are you talking about? It's just this. No, it's that then. It's appearing as what you fucking mean that it's just this. So it's inescapable, wonderfully, wonderfully, and perhaps horribly inescapable.
One of the things that came up for me when you guys were talking was um like it just kept repeating and repeating, like everything Lauren was saying appeared to fall right into line with being a new mother with a baby. Like it just seemed energetically like, and I know that's cause and effect, but I mean, and the clusterfuck of hormones that happens to new mothers and babies, but like I'm curious about that because it wasn't like I could make it go away. It just felt palpable, like feelings about being safe or wanting to make more money or all that stuff just seems so natural, you
Mm.
know. But I know I mean that's all cause and effect, right? It could not be.
Well, it's maybe more simply just what's appearing to happen
Yeah,
then. Sure, you can't push it away or not push it away. Maybe pushing it away and wanting it to be different would also be what it is. So you can tell a story about everything else that will maybe perhaps make it knowable and explainable in a sort of a story as X and Y, but
yeah,
it doesn't, it's half measured almost.
yeah,
So nothing is knowable. Sitting calmly looking at a screen is not actually is the same unknowableness. So this is the unknowable, talking and hearing,
yeah.
alive or aliveness as this then.
Lauren, I really love your questions.
Why, thank you.
Hey, good evening.
Hey,
Hey, so I was just pondering about this term unknowing and what so where I grew up, my father had on the toilet various speeches, like sentence of wisdom hanging. So whoever was having a shit could read them. And one was knowledge is power.
mm,
And I just realized that somehow I'm so deeply conditioned in a way to needing to know, but it is like I'm also fed up with that whole thing.
mm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I sit here and then I start to get tired because like something is like trying
mm,
to know anyway, and then it's like, ooh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, knowledge is the currency of the world, and the more knowledge you appear to have, the more powerful. It's like an echelon of power, and all of this knowledge, and the more knowledge that one has, the more they can get up the ladder in the hierarchy of power. And you can see that in the universities and the more
Yeah.
exclusive ones where there's almost, let's just say, a superior thing going on of being bigger, better humans. And it's all a dream of power, of knowledge, of the heaviness of all of that carrying it around. And yet at the same time, let's just pretend that what's really longed for is the loss of all that, is the child looking at the puddle and stopping in it and jumping up and down in the fucking puddle. That's really, and getting wet and wrecking the shoes and wrecking the parents' heads. That's really what's looked for. And
Mm,
what's all that knowledge needed? No, no,
mm,
no.
mm,
And it's being someone, the heaviness of being someone in the world with knowledge. And it's walking around every day, holding the self together almost with all this knowledge and appearing authoritative and appearing like you know what the fuck. And at the same time, there is this dissatisfaction. There's that sort of living life through the window pane of knowledge sort of thing. It's like no taste, really,
mm,
knowledge. It's like Jordan Peterson, whom I sort of kind of like. I like the sound of his voice in a kind of a
Yeah, yeah,
way.
yeah.
Seems almost authentic, but it's so much knowledge. It's just exhausting.
Yes.
Being Jordan Peterson, being this character wearing these clothes, saying these things and never getting it wrong,
Mm.
because there's the loss of power. And
Yes.
it's, you know,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, anyway.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that, so I can only say that I feel there comes a sort of a serious or heaviness with it. And it's like, oh, wow. It's just doesn't, yeah. And then like the whole system is like saying, oh, come on. That's right. Too much in a way. So I cannot listen to Mr. Peterson very, very long.
No, no, I can't either. No.
Although I find him quite a likable character as such, yeah.
Yeah, something, whatever.
There's something like,
Apparently sincere, let's just say. Yeah,
yeah,
nice twang to him.
yeah.
Sometimes I see him crying when he's making his own points. In his book that he wrote, I remember listening to him running a marathon, and I used to practice for marathons listening to him.
Ah, yeah.
And he was crying about the loss of a friend in the book, and I thought it was wonderfully sincere, you know. But
Yes.
mm.
Yeah.
Sorry, forgive my ignorance. Who's Jordan Peterson? Is he like a
He's
non-duality teacher thing? Kind of.
no, he's
No.
he speaks about he sort of studies the Bible. He's into psychology and all that. I mean, it depends if
Oh,
you're.
okay.
I gave a talk once on creativity, and that's what drew me in. I sort of liked his thinking on creativity. But he's quite an apparently known figure in the world, and he does podcasts and all that shit.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, to say there's no Jordan Peterson, really, Jordan Peterson would be very upset about that, I imagine. But maybe relieved in the end. Don't know. Sort of like that heaviness of carrying around. It's like the story of me and my life, and it's like a heavy bag of rocks carried around everywhere almost, and it's like, the rocks are taken out and shown, look at me, this here, look at this. And you could say
Yeah.
in these sorts of gatherings, all that is just not seen, heard, let's just say, but not, it's just um it's not, I don't know how you describe that, but it's just like, all that the heavy story of me doesn't get validated here with these sorts of things. Doesn't not get validated. It's just, the
The
reactions.
the
Hmm?
the identity rucksack.
The identity rucksack, yeah, the heavy bag of rocks that is me. Yeah.
I'm always struck by these movies where somebody who's maybe in a very like kind of lowly position in life and things like that, and then somebody comes along one day and says, actually, when you were a very small baby, somebody swapped you, whatever, and you're not actually a nobody at all, but you're actually the princess of Spain or the princess of Sweden or something like that. And then people go, oh, Jesus, that wasn't who I was at all. I'm somebody else completely. And ta-da,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, I always knew I was special. Alternatively, yeah, it's like being, I think it's like being someone And at a certain point, that having to be someone appears to get very heavy and tiresome. Let's just say, having to be a mother, father, business person, teacher, doctor, being someone. I'm someone serious, or I'm someone funny, or I'm someone deep, or I'm someone superficial. And it's like at a certain point that that kind of shell, that you're not anyone, that the cracks, I think, just appear to form, and they can form in lots of different, in sort of anyway, let's just say. But at the core, maybe, is that really this unknowing is, which isn't a thing, is at the core of everything, really, is how it is, and then everything else on top is just a story layered on top. So nothing is known, including nothing. Woohoo! Yee-hoo! Where are the puddles? Where are the fucking puddles? Let's go jump in the puddles. It's a bit cold outside, actually, so maybe not.
I loved what you said about the puddle. Um, and it's just really hitting the nail on the head, so to speak. But you know, there's also this thing that wants to, okay, that was such a beautiful moment of jumping in the puddles. I need to preserve that ability to be present for puddle jumping.
Yeah, I mean, that's a load of fucking shit. Who could be present? Who could not be present? There's just jumping in a puddle. But it's also, this is jumping in the puddle. This immediately talking is the jumping in the puddle. It's not like then suddenly they'll be walking around just wanting to jump in the puddles all day. Well, maybe, who knows? Oh, stop the car, there's a puddle.
Yeah, I live for this. I
Yeah,
live for these puddles.
you've got your new shoes on. Oh, I don't, maybe I won't. Yeah, maybe I'll leave the puddle till I've got my shit shoes on. Then I'll jump in it.
Yeah, it's funny because yeah, like one of my first uh interactions with a little kid, some years ago was building a sandcastle and then just stomping it. Like stomping this castle was more fun than building it.
Mm.
And I felt a sense of loss when the castle was stomped.
Oh.
I mean,
Mm.
I'm kind of kidding a bit, but there was I couldn't identify with the um like the glee of smashing up something that was just built, and it exposed further like this side of me that was all about wanting to have a clean floor, you know, in my house. And it just, I don't know. I don't know how long puddle jumping can be sustained. Um,
However long it appears to be sustained for, but also I think that analogy of it wasn't quite an analogy, but the stomping on the
Castle.
sandcastle is, that's how it is for everything. That's the sands of time. Like not a moment can be held on to, not a second. That those feelings of wanting then to hold on to the lovely stuff is also what appears to happen, but nothing can be held on to for better and for worse. The good stuff, but also the shit stuff, the horrible stuff that wants to be ran from. Thankfully, nothing can be held on and to, not a one moment, not anything at all, and everything is gone. And that loss can sometimes be stronger like that. It's like going on holidays and returning, and it's kind of like fucking back to the grind, and it's like a loss because that's never to be brought back, and it's every moment. But thankfully, that's how it is nothing comes back. Nothing is the same. It's like the leaves are gone, the blades of grass are gone, and they'll may grow back, but they'll never be the same. And that's like how it is for everything. And so sometimes you just jump on the fucking sandcastle and rejoice with glee. But that would be just what's happening. Gone like it never was, and it never fucking was.
Wow.
Um, why did you feel that this therapy was rather torture? Was it because like you had to be someone, or you had to work on something, or what was it?
It just felt no story and stories and stories and stories and
Ah, yeah,
stories,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then having to do it in a correct way
Yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
follow and apparently perhaps in time the reflexes of it all would be less about knowledge and more about I mean, let's just say that the psychotherapy at its most wonderful is just simply hearing, you could say, really. And at the very core principles of it are unconditional sort of regard. But that's prescribed as a doing that someone can do. And but the core of the principles of it are kind of can be nice, I think, I don't have a problem with psychotherapy. It was probably more my character just going fucking hell, like endless stories and
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it has some, it can have, because like we had it here recently about that how can it like the idea is that you basically change your thinking and therefore feel better, so to speak, right? That's a bit the idea, and that is like how can that even work through it's yeah.
Well, I sort of I think if there's I don't have any problem with psychotherapy at all. I think at the core of it, if something needs to be spoken about, let's just say, and
Yeah.
then there is uh that's heard in a kind of a sometimes all that needs to happen is for the kettle to boil and for it to be heard.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. But like, do you need to come back and talk about it next week? I mean, I like 10 years ago I went for a year maybe. And in the end, I thought, how fucking long are we going to talk about my mother?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Or whatever the fuck,
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the joke was if it's not one thing, it's the mother. And I thought, here, come on now. And it's just relentless stories and diving into just but but then also having someone totally and utterly on your side can be kind of good,
Yes.
it can be good. I don't know. I found it good for a little while till I suddenly didn't find it good at all. And then it's like, how given an explanation for anything at all. It's like, how was the getting interested in thinking of doing psychotherapy? Fuck, I don't really know. How was there suddenly going, I'm dropping out. I've paid a load of money, but I'm dropping out. I can't do this. That's just what happened. And it's like it's the same with how did suddenly turning a page of a book one day and reading something by Leo Hartang, and suddenly I go, fucking hell, what the fuck is this? It's the same as doing podcasts, this here talking, this exact same, and it's the exact same there's fuck off, Siri, sorry. This Siri thing comes on and starts talking to me. Um, but you know what I mean? It's like any question, the same question could be asked there about any, and maybe a half-hour story would be told, but it's just a story. Like it's a sort of an explanation that makes it somewhat noble, but it's a load of bollocks. It's just a story,
Mm.
and not one story holds true, including saying not one story holds true. Mhm.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
You see, softly, gently, and violently and loudly, all there is just what appears to happen. And it doesn't ever depart from that. And one fucking thing for sure is that saying all there is what appears to happen, does not come close or further away from this. So nothing explains this at all, at all. This is swimming in the unknowing.
I keep thinking about a non-duality pop quiz. It's very
That sounds
funny.
great.
Yeah, it's very funny to me.
Yeah, let me know if you get any
Yeah, right.
attendees. Sort of kind of a lovely, because really uh, not one sentence obviously captures this, and yet could fill a gazillion encyclopedias and talk for a gazillion years, and it would also be just this. So it's like infinitely small and infinitely large, this um, and also absolutely and wonderfully nothing.
Frank, have you heard Declan O'Rourke in person?
Have I heard him? Well, actually, he launched an album whenever it was, and I have an old I brought my VHS of my little cassette recorder. I've never dug it out to see what the how bad the recording is, but it was in a record store, and he launched and he sang Galileo and uh, a couple of other songs, and I captured it whenever that was. Haven't looked at it since.
Mm. But he's not local. He's not a local musician.
Well, he's from Dublin. Yeah, he's from. Yeah, I haven't gone to see him in a pub. I haven't really listened to anything since that first album.
Yeah.
But yeah, he that I adored that song.
Yeah, so heartfelt.
Mm,
Jesus.
yeah, his
Yeah.
voice is really excellent.
Yeah.
He was a backing singer for some other famous people, and he did guitar and he did some production stuff, and then he launched his own album.
Laura, what country are you in? Yeah.
Germany.
But you were in Ireland, right? Were you ever in Ireland? No?
Me, if I ever travel to Ireland, unfortunately not.
I thought you were neighbors with Kenneth and Frank. No?
Oh, not that I know, no.
No.
How
I
funny.
mean, I thought you guys were all talking about drinking beers together and stuff. No?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was that. Yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Hypothetically, I think maybe.
yeah, yeah. It was like it was recently that we all feel we would like to have a Frank in our life, right? Where we
Yeah.
could grab a beer and
Yes. Yeah.
just
Just hang out. Yeah. Yeah.
So you just see yourself and other people as a play of light.
No, I don't see anyone as anything at all. I don't see no, I don't really the only thing that appears to be come out of this math is there's just simply immediately inescapably what appears to happen. And there's absolutely no knowledge then once removed from that that goes, well, this is a play of light or we're all just plays of light. It's there's but this sort of gathering and sharing is a sort of an exposing, or appears like it's an exposing of the individual orchestrator, the decision maker, the one that's in control. And it seems like that these gatherings, which is also causeless, like everything, appears to happen. So it's a sort of a miracle mystery that this communication appears to happen, but in the exact same 100% exact same way that there seems to be a drawnness to this communication and that question being asked in the same way, then there's a response to it. And that is this mystery. So then it's nothing to do with knowledge or having or seeing that it's a play of light, or they're just words then. You know, you could say it's all energy, carrot cake, potatoes. You could say it's boundless love. You could say it's whatever you appear to say, but it won't get closer or further away than that, than the happening, than just the words being said. In other words, there's already no one, and this is the free fall. So there's no one in there asking and no one responding. And so what the fuck? Woohoo! No fucking clue. How do you like them apples, Lauren?
Yep. Pretty rad. Pretty
Yeah,
rad.
pretty fucking rad, isn't it? In
Yep.
it. Hmm.
Yeah.
It's the most radical, and yet it's simply just with just this.
Yeah, no, I need someone sitting next to me all the time being like, can you believe this?
Well, it's sort of like that. Like, and this is it's fucking. It's sort of unbelievable. It is utterly unbelievable. Because then there'd have to be something that could be believed. So it's beyond beliefs then, beyond all the knowledge and havings and all that. So everything is this mystery, but it's not like then that's an attainment where you're going around going, God, everything is this mystery. You know, it's there is just no one in there asking and responding. So you can't do this mystery or not do it.
Yeah.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah.
I always love it when you say it's nothing to live a life by.
Yeah. Absolutely fucking nothing. I mean, some do make it a thing to live a life by, but it's so like talk about licking the wrapper.
Yeah.
And it's the most you know, it's like there's a bus coming and uh And it's, oh, there's a bus coming my way. That's what's appearing to happen. And now getting out of the way of the bus is what's appearing to happen. It's like when feeling very sad is happening. It's not like there's oh, it's feeling very sad, it's appearing to happen. That's what it is. It's like that's a neutral state. Maybe it's just feeling sad, maybe it's just crying, maybe it's just laughing, maybe it's just naturally then whatever is. And you know how useless, really, really useless then. Wonderfully should. That's why there's, there's just nothing useful at all. And so that can be horrible and annoying. So it's a total mystery that, you know, does anybody turning up to these sorts of gatherings? And yeah, you could say it's the elephant in the room, and how come the whole conversation's not everywhere?
Thank you for having the meeting.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming along to the meeting, and thank you all. It's lovely,
Yeah.
really lovely. Thank you.
I'm hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Emil.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, let me get these emojis going though. First of all, I can't go without fucking throwing some emojis out. Where are they again? Wait now. Ah, here we go. Throw in a few. Those ones are. There we go. A few hearts, a few rockets. I like the rockets. The moment I particularly like the rockets. There we go. There we go. One more with the hearts. All right. Thank you all very much. Bye.